It seemed like it took forever, but football is back. The marathon, the sprint to Super Bowl 56 starts tonight. The defending Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, host the Dallas Cowboys. Can Tom Brady and his Buccaneers be the first team in 17 years to repeat as Super Bowl champions since the 2003-2004 New England Patriots did? This Sunday, it is an action-packed Sunday to start out this year's regular season as Patric Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs host Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns at Arrowhead Stadium. Can Cleveland get a big-time victory against Mahomes and Kansas City? Also, Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Can Roethlisberger and the Steelers redeem themselves from last year's beatdown by Buffalo? How will Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay Packers respond on the road as they take on the New Orleans Saints? Our Nation Sports Show has you covered all regular season long, the postseason, and for Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. It has finally arrived, ladies and gentlemen. The question is this: are you ready for some football? Let's put the pedal to the metal, rock and roll, kick ass, and talk some football all season long. The nation speaks to you. Next. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Open Nation bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Vicker and Stephen Wyand.
Oh yeah, let's go everybody! Here we freaking go once again. It is another awesome Thursday here. It is our Nation Sports Show. We are live once again. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope your day is going well. And it is a big, big Thursday, everybody, because as our beloved Steven alluded to here in the intro, the NFL season begins tonight. That's right. In just about an hour here, about a little less than an hour and 15, we are going. The NFL season will officially begin with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which should be a pretty interesting game in this one here. But before we get to all that, we got to do, of course, the usual spiel, which, of course, the ways you can follow us and interact with us. Of course, social media, of course, you can hit us up on Twitter at @ON_sports show. Follow us there. If you got any questions or anything, you can tweet us. You can also follow us, of course, on the Facebook. Search our Nation Sports Show in the Facebook search bar. Like our page, share it. We definitely want the likes for our show. And then next, of course, is our YouTube channel where we are currently live. You follow us there. Just search our Nation Sports Show in YouTube. Get us to 100 subscribers, because once we get to 100 subscribers, we can get ourselves a custom URL, which will not only make it easier for you guys to find us, but also make it for us to share our page with the world. Definitely get on there, interact with us. If you got any questions, if you got any sort of comments you want to make about any of the topics we discussed tonight, you're more than welcome to interact with us, because that is the whole point of this show. It's not only for us, but it's also for you. Also, you can hit us up on the Bust Open Nation Discord, the Nation's Corner Discord. Hit us up on there. that you can even join us live if you want to do a little audio call and you want to talk to us live and in person. You can go on there and just let us know, and we'll get you on the show with us. Now that we got that whole spiel out of the way, and I basically paid every sponsor. Nah, I'm kidding. But we don't have sponsors. We're too broke for that. But it's time to introduce the hosts. But I mean one host this week, and that is, of course, my heavy metal brother from North Kakalaki, the greatest drummer to never see a drumstick, Stephen Wyand. What's up, brother?
And to break drumsticks, as a matter of fact. What's going on, everybody? Let's talk some sports. It's the start of the NFL regular season. Man, last week it was an awesome weekend, man. I got to play with the band that I'm in, Bad Habit, down there in Darlington, South Carolina. And at the very end of the set, I broke a drumstick for the first time in probably 4 or 5 years. So you know what I said to that? Mission accomplished. And I was throwing sticks out into the crowd, and I threw one stick into the crowd, and I hit this dude so hard. I got him, and I threw the stick so hard, and I hit him in the shoulder. He came up to me, he said, "I want to thank you." I said, "Thank me for what?" He said, "For hitting me with the shoulder." And the shoulder with the drumstick. I said, "Huh, okay." And then I kept on throwing sticks into the crowd. "Throw some more sticks." I said, "Okay, I will." So that was fun. It was a great show. Great playing with the band and playing for the first time in 9 months. And you, sir, had one hell of a weekend down there in, I don't know, Chicago for AEW All Out weekend. Man, that was an awesome weekend of wrestling.
Absolutely. I was at Rampage. I was at the AEW Fan Fest. I was at the Nation Across the Nation Party. Quick shout out, thanks to Dave LaGreca, Mark Henry, Gabby Laspiza, and Ryan McKinnell for hosting this event. That was awesome. Got to hang with the Busted Open Nation. You can see Dave arm wrestle Will Hobbs and barely make it out alive. So that was awesome as well. Yes. Of course, went to All Out on Sunday and the pre-party beforehand. But of course, I'll probably discuss that maybe this Saturday on the Nation's Corner. Stay tuned for that.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely
but it's great to be back and talking, sports and talking about the NFL, because we all love football. And man, it's so great to have football back. We've all been missing it. And tonight, the real season begins. The long journey to Los Angeles starts tonight with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, take on the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely. It's going to be a hell of a game. Tonight, the game starts at 7:20. That means we're only just a little bit of time away from the very first game of the season that football will officially kick off once again.
And for those that can't speak that language, it's 8:20 Eastern Standard Time, 7:20 Central.
Absolutely. I just want to make sure I got my time zones right in my head here, because
if you remember to set your alarm, that is.
This is true, because Ezra was a little bit of late getting up for the pre-show because he was sleeping like a rock, and he was sleeping so good it took him a bit to get up, and boy, he got up just on time by the skin of his teeth. So we're here to talk NFL, and oh my goodness, it's gonna be awesome.
And ladies and gentlemen, that of course the voice before Steve's nasally, annoying ass voice was of course the audio producer for the evening, Mr. R.A. Davis, of course known for being on the Nation's Corner. But we've got we're going to get right into it, Steven, and we're going to talk about, of course, the NFL. Why not? I mean, it is the beginning of the season. We got to start it off.
Yes, we do.
And of course, we're going to quickly give a little quick pick about tonight's game, which of course, like you said, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know Dallas, of course, is dealing with the whole Dak Prescott situation. Dak Prescott injured his shoulder during training, training and preseason. So he's been, kind of questionable with his injury status. But Tom Brady coming in full force with basically the entire team, the entire full team that won the Super Bowl last year, which is practically unheard of. A full team from the Super Bowl game coming back without really one or two single additions that really don't change the flow of the team. So Steven, I want to get your thoughts, being a massive Tom Brady fan, a massive fan of football in a sense. This game tonight, I know it's usually it's a the game looks like it's a runaway basically with Tampa Bay, which a lot of people are saying. But is there a chance that maybe Dallas could shock them on the first game? Because Super Bowl teams are if you look at history, Super Bowl teams are known to lose the very first game or the first game or so of the new regular season. So is that curse going to follow Tampa Bay, or do you think Tom Brady is smart enough to put Dallas down and make sure that they can keep their momentum going from Super Bowl 55?
Well, on paper, I mean, listen, I mean, Tampa Bay is the better team. Tampa Bay is the better team because they brought back, like you said, basically every single starter on this team from last year's season. And taking on Dallas, I mean, I think Brady's going to have it kind of easy tonight. Not super easy, but he's going to have it pretty well because, I mean, now he had a full off season with Tampa Bay to get his reps in with the team and the receivers and the offensive line and the running backs and all that stuff. And, you know, it's going to be a very interesting game tonight because, I mean, it's the first game back obviously for both teams. And I think there might be a little bit of rust. So I don't think it's going to be easy out the gate for Brady. But if it is, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's Tom Brady. What are we talking about? 7 Super Bowls. I mean, that's how great he is. I mean, you know, we can't stand the fact that this dude keeps on winning, but hey, you got to respect greatness. And that's where the greatness is right now. He's once again a Super Bowl champion. And if you want to dethrone the great quarterback of all time, it's simple, but it's hard to do. Beat him. That's how you do it. Beat him. And I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game tonight. It's going to be a rather interesting game.
It is going to be an interesting game. I mean, Dallas right now, the big question, like we said, is of course Dak Prescott. Will he be 100%? Will he be ready to go tonight? Like I said, he's been dealing with injuries. Of course, he had that nasty ankle injury that took him out last season, which is something that's going to be questioned. Will he be gun shy coming in? Will he, will he play the same as he did before? And that's something with a massive injury like that. Players like that, they can be a little gun shy, either whether it be massive shoulder surgery throwing the ball, or a basketball player running on a snapped ankle or something like that. It's always that he's got to fight the mental game as well as the physical game in his head. So that's one of the lingering questions about the Dallas team, and with the additions that they made throughout the offseason, it's going to be interesting to see how well this new team gels and how well they gel with Dak and play well. Tom Brady bringing back all the starters and everything. This is just it's like riding a bike for Tom, because it's basically when you bring back all those starters, you don't have to worry about continuity issues. You don't have to worry about playing with new blood in a sense, because you have familiarity. You have that familiarity with those players. They know the playbook, they know the movements, they know where they need to be, whether they're in a slot, whether they're in the gun, it don't matter. Whether they're in certain positions they need to be in, they'll be there. So, and Tom knows that they'll be there. And of course, he's got his ultimate weapon, Rob Gronkowski, at tight end. So, man, he's played with for over a decade. So, it's I think this is a game that Tampa Bay can run away with. I think Dallas will put up a fight. I think Dallas is going to be overmatched by the fact that Tampa Bay's coming back with all those starters, coming back with the momentum of the Super Bowl. I don't think that curse is going to follow them this time around, and Tampa Bay is going to lead this to victory. I think it's going to be probably maybe at least a 10 to 13 point difference. It's not going to be a total blowout, but it's going to be close.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be it's going to be a 10 to 14 point victory for Tampa Bay. I'm thinking on the lines of 31-17, 31-21, something like that. 31-14, something to that degree. I mean, Dallas is, they're not a pushover opponent. They're not super easy to beat. I mean, they have a great quarterback and a great running back, just, not to mention, and those receivers. I mean, but it's going to be an interesting game tonight. I mean, this might be one of the more unique matchups to start out any regular season for any Super Bowl champion, because usually every other Super Bowl matchup for the winning team has always been against a complete heavyweight. Like when New England took on Kansas City, and that one in the start of their season a couple of years ago in 2017. and Green Bay and the Saints in 2011. I mean, Baltimore and Denver to start out 2013. And we'll see. I'll see what happens tonight.
Absolutely, man. Should be a great game once again. 8:20 Eastern on your local station. Check out, of course, NFL.com for more information on that. Also, let's quickly get into the other games this weekend coming up in the world of football. We got a lot of games to play.
Yes, we do.
Including Sunday, according to me being biased here, Sunday Night Football, Rams versus Chicago at LA. It's going to be the true test for Andy Dalton against those newly improved Rams. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dalton plays the new playbooks with Neil Magny and this brand new team that he's going to be playing with. So I'm excited for that. But taking a look here at the schedule here for these games tonight or tomorrow or on Sunday, shall we say? Of course, we got some big games. Let's talk about some of the big games, Steven. Let's go ahead and get into let's talk about of course the one of the big ones, Green Bay in New Orleans. This is a big one. Aaron Rodgers is back as the quarterback of this team. Randall Cobb returns as well at wide receiver. Devontae Adams, of course, should be back, hopefully, if those contract negotiations are solved. It's going to be interesting to see Green Bay being back to what they once were, which is this killer football team that destroys everybody with that Aaron Rodgers style call, causing them to jump off sides. And it's going to be interesting to see. In New Orleans, of course, is a couple of big factors with New Orleans. First off, no more Drew Brees. Brees retired last off season, said his career is done. So they're starting with a brand new quarterback, some brand new players. I mean, they got Alvin Kamara, who's back. They've got Lutz, who returned. They got some pretty good players who are still around, but brand new quarterback. Also, the thing is, this is an emotional game for New Orleans as they're coming off the effects of Hurricane Ida that just went through this past week. And of course, we want to send out a quick note to all those who were impacted, whether they lost loved ones, lost homes, without power currently still, to those of Hurricane Ida. You're always in our thoughts and prayers, and we wish you all nothing but the best, and hopefully you can return to some sense of normalcy here soon. So, Steven, I want to get your thoughts on that game, Green Bay and New Orleans. Who do you think is going to come out on top? And do you think that the added emotion of the coming back after this after the hurricane, do you think that'll help propel New Orleans to maybe shock Green Bay and pull out a victory without the one and only Drew Brees?
The old saying goes, any team can be beaten on any given Sunday. And 15 years ago, after Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005 and the next season in 2006, the first game back at the Superdome in New Orleans, that entire stadium was filled with emotion, and New Orleans went on to win that game. And you never know. You never know in this day and age with sports, and especially with the NFL. I mean, the Saints may use that hurricane, to fuel their emotions, to say, hey, they're counting us out because, our city, was destroyed by this hurricane, and now we're having to, rebuild everything back again, especially the power in the Superdome. I mean, Sean told us on Zoom the other night that the Superdome might be back at the first 8 games technically at home. So they obviously won't be playing in the stadium because of the damage to the hurricane. So it's this game, to me, out of all the games Sunday, this has me intrigued the most for the simple fact that the unknown, because we don't know how Green Bay is going to do in their first game back with Rodgers. And Rodgers did not have a full training camp with these guys. He came back in July, late July, came back. And he said, if I'm coming back, I'm bringing back Randall Cobb. We don't know how Randall Cobb is going to be with Green Bay in this offense to start out the season. It's the first game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay wins this game by 14, 20 plus points. But I also, at the same time, would not be surprised if New Orleans makes this a game. makes this like a 7-3 point game, because that's the fire. I think that's going to burn inside of these guys, because they know that everybody in the NFL, the press, the media, everybody, the analysts are counting them out, saying they can't beat Green Bay. You know what's going on with them? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking next week about a close game. But with that being said, I have Green Bay winning this game 24-17.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's about the same one, 24-17. I would give it 24-10. Just because Aaron Rodgers is going to be out there looking to make a statement. He's not going to be lazy. He's not going to come out there. If Aaron Rodgers is going to play like the old Aaron Rodgers used to, excuse me, he'll come out there guns blazing. He won't make mistakes. He'll make the plays when they count. So I expect Aaron Rodgers to be the Aaron Rodgers we know, and I personally detest being a Chicago Bears fan. But it's gonna be an interesting game, to say the least. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers being back versus the emotion of New Orleans coming back after the hurricane. So it's always going to be an interesting thing to watch out for. Some of the other games that are going to be happening tomorrow night, we got of course Arizona and Tennessee, San Francisco at Detroit, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Cleveland, Kansas City, Denver, New York Giants, Miami, and the New England Patriots. Like I said earlier, Chicago and LA. We'll get into that in just a second. And then a really big game on Monday, Baltimore and the Las Vegas Raiders. So, you know what, Steve, let's go ahead and get right into it. Chicago and LA. Like I said, this is the first game with Andy Dalton at quarterback for Chicago. This is going to be really, 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 really interesting. A couple quick facts. The Bears are 9-2 in September games in the Neil Magny era since 2018. Only the Chiefs have a higher win percentage on ESPN, and of course that comes from NFL.com. The Rams have, unfortunately, as part of their cons, they have the Rams allowed fewer than 20 points in 8 games in 2020. Only Baltimore had more such games. So it's gonna be really, really good to see these two teams battle it out. We know that the Rams, of course, no longer have Jared Goff. They're got a brand new quarterback at the helm. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens there. And like I said, the Andy Dalton factor. Allen Robinson, of course, signed a franchise tag and then came back to Chicago. Lost out on a few good players in the offseason. But hopefully, and of course, we got rid of Mitchell Trubisky, and Bears got Justin Fields, who, depending on how well Andy Dalton plays, may make an appearance during this season. Steven, your thoughts on tonight's game between Chicago Sunday's game, Sunday night's game between Chicago and LA?
Yeah, this game is going to be rather interesting as well, because it's also the first game for Matthew Stafford under center for LA as well. And Andy Dalton, I think, is going to have a lot of pressure on his back with the Chicago fans. And I think that if Dalton does not do well in the first couple of weeks, Ezra, you being a loyal Chicago fan, you guys are going to be breathing down his neck saying, hey, get the rookie in, get Fields in, because we want this guy. Lance Meadow was absolutely right when he was on our program a few weeks ago. He knows that you and the rest of Chicago want this guy, this kid, to be under center, because honestly, I don't think Andy Dalton is going to do as great with Chicago. I think that Andy Dalton's prime has passed him. The time that he has had as far as success, I think it's gone, because last year in Dallas, he failed. And I don't know. This game, it could go either way. I think the Rams are going to win this game 27-17. I think the Rams have too many weapons on offense. They obviously got the great beast on defense, Aaron Donald, who won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Their defense is going to light up Andy Dalton and that offensive line. I do not trust Chicago's offensive line against Aaron Donald and that defense of LA. It's gonna be something.
Yeah, and that's been the Achilles heel of Chicago for a number of years.
Absolutely, especially when they had Jay Cutler all those years.
Yeah, is that offensive line. They were not able to protect the quarterback. But then again, also, it's Jay Cutler we're talking about. We're talking about as I like to call him, the interception king. But it's a matter of not only the offensive line playing well, it's a matter of can Andy Dalton make the big plays when he count. And unfortunately, he does not have a great track record. He's had a record number of interceptions previously with the Cincinnati Bengals. He didn't do well with Dallas. Hopefully, maybe this new system is a change. Who knows? I'm going to give Andy Dalton a chance. I'm not personally being a Bears fan. I'm not going to put his feet to the fire just yet. I'm going to give him a chance to prove himself and really show that, hey, I can make a difference with this team. If he doesn't, then I'd say bring in the young gun. But of course, you don't want to put his feet to the fire either so early, because you want Justin Fields to learn, you want him to build. But then again, if we need to bring him in as to make sure that we can stabilize the offensive section of the football. Of course, the defense is not a problem. We got Khalil Mack at center. We got Khalil Mack as the linebacker. Of course, he's back with the fold, and Keem Hicks has so many great other players who are ready to rumble. That we know the Bears defense is of course stacked every year. To me, the Bears over the past couple years have been back to the quote unquote monsters of the Midway as far as their defense goes. They're one of the best defensive teams, one of the best teams when it comes to picking off plays, when it comes to stripping the ball out of a quarterback's hands or an offensive player's hands. The Bears know how to do that. A la Peanut Tillman back in the day, of course, the peanut punch. But this is going my heart versus my brain. My heart, of course, wants Chicago to win. I want to pick Chicago, but my brain, which of course I'm not even going to say much about that, but my brain is I'm going to go with, it's going to be 24-14 LA. And that's only because of the Andy Dalton factor. The offensive line, I don't think is completely stable yet. I don't trust Andy Dalton. It's just his track record speaks for itself. But any other games you want to talk about on that list there, Steven? Any other games that interest you? I mean, Baltimore Raiders interest me. Of course, I want to say that real quick because, of course, we got our very own Christina, who is a Baltimore Ravens fan, massive fan.
Yes, that game's going to be interesting because Lamar Jackson, to me, I said it a couple weeks ago on the show when we were doing the AFC North preview. This is time for Lamar Jackson to put up or shut up. It's go time, baby. Because last year in the playoffs against Buffalo, he had that critical back-breaking interception that changed the complexity of the entire game for Baltimore against Buffalo. And Buffalo went on to win that game and to go to the AFC Championship game, winning 17-3. And I think that this game right here is going to play in the Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' hands, because I think that he knows that he's got the critics on his back. I think Baltimore is going to win this game. I think it might be pretty close. I'm going to say 28-24, Baltimore.
Yeah, I think I've got the same score in my head on that one, Steven, as far as that game goes. Like you said, Lamar Jackson, I think he's been playing great ever since last season. He's really stepped up big time. The team has really gelled well, and it's become a great, great football team. The Raiders, of course, they'll be getting to play their brand new stadium, Allegiant Stadium, this year.
Yes.
Which of course, has already hosted some big shows, for everything from SummerSlam to Guns N' Roses to Garth Brooks.
Right.
It's hopefully that new stadium will kind of bring the energy that they need. We'll see what happens there.
Yes. Another game that has me interested as well. You got Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Man, that game is going to be, as JR would say, a slobber knocker, because those two teams are going to get at it. Because I think Roethlisberger and Pittsburgh have a chip on their shoulder, because they know last year Buffalo destroyed them in December last year. They handed the Steelers an ass beating of a lifetime. And Josh Allen in that third quarter went 8 for 8 and a touchdown. No interceptions in that third quarter. And that right there was the quarter that to me decided the game. And it's gonna be an interesting game with these two teams because Roethlisberger, a lot of people are saying that maybe this is his last year, in Pittsburgh. And Josh Allen is obviously the quarterback who was on the rise because they were one game away from the Super Bowl last year when they faced Patric Mahomes in Kansas City, and Buffalo fell to Kansas City in the championship game. And I think this is going to be a really, really good game. And I have Buffalo winning this game 24-21.
I have it 27-24.
Ooh.
That's going to be my score. You're right. It's going to be a very close game. Like you said, Roethlisberger's got a chip on his shoulder because he's ready to prove, hey, it's not my time to go yet. I'm going to
right.
Roethlisberger. And both of those teams have lights out, high-powered offenses. So it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's not going to be a quote-unquote defensive battle. Both teams got lights-out offenses, of course. Buffalo Bills have been playing great the past couple of seasons and have really proved their mettle. Pittsburgh, we already know how good they are, especially with Roethlisberger at the helm, who's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And of course, we know who's going to be rooting for Pittsburgh on the wrestling side of things, that being Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So maybe a little bit of Britsburg will bring them some good luck for the Steelers. But no, I predict it's going to be 27-24 Steelers over the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be a close game. Both teams are going to play awesome. It's going to be a lights out game to watch. I think it's going to be one of those games that many people, while they look at it, think, oh, it's an old Ben Roethlisberger versus a young Buffalo Bills team. That's not the case. It's going to be two great offenses who are going to be looking to shoot each other out of the gym. So I expect it to be a great game overall. Before we get into I think we wrapped up pretty much the games that we talked about here in this.
There's another game. There's another game I want to talk about. And
really?
This to me is the game of the week, and I don't know why it is not the game of the week. Patric Mahomes and Kansas City are going to take on Baker Mayfield and Cleveland at Arrowhead. That game is going to be freaking awesome. And our very own Ashley is going to be in the stadium at Arrowhead watching her Chiefs play Cleveland. And this game right here, to me, is going to be the best game of the week. And I could go so many ways with this game because this game could go so many different directions. On one hand, you have Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. We know how great that offense is. Well, this will be their first year without Eric Fisher on the offensive side protecting Mahomes. This will also be the first time Mahomes will not have Samuel Watkins on the offensive side of the ball because he's no longer with the team. And I think Mahomes will be doing Mahomes things in this game, but it's going to come at a hefty price. And that hefty price, my friends, is the Cleveland defense. That Cleveland defense is lights out good. And this game right here, it could be a high scoring game, or it could be a knock 'em out, take your daughter to the back, teach her how to play, the game, teach your boy how to play the game, knock him out, drag him out, slobber knocker, ass, beating type, game. 17-14, 17-10, defensive game. Teach these kids, hey, you can also win games by defense, man. And I don't know, man. This game could swing so many different ways. I mean, I think Kansas City could win this game, and I think Cleveland could win this game. It could go either way. And I don't know. I mean, Baker Mayfield this year, I think it's going to have a great year for Cleveland. I think Cleveland, like Lance said on our show, is a for real team. I think Cleveland this year could possibly win the AFC North against Pittsburgh and Baltimore because it's a three-team race, for that division. And this game, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the defense of Cleveland is going to get after Mahomes. I think Cleveland's defense is going to have at least 3 to 4 sacks in this game. And I think it's so hard to call because you can't bet against Mahomes. He's that good. But on the other hand, man, I so badly want to pull the trigger on Cleveland because I'm high on Cleveland this year. I think Cleveland's going to do good this year, but I'm not going to bet against the kid who won a Super Bowl for Kansas City 2 years ago against San Francisco. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Kansas City, I think, is going to win this game 34-31. It boggles my mind how this game is not the game of the week.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to give it the same score, Steven. And you're right. It's gonna be one of the best games of the week. I think it is personally. You've got Cleveland, who's been on the rise lately. Cleveland was really proving their mettle and shown, hey, we are a great football team. All the years of mediocrity are leading up to great success, and they're proving it. And this year is the year to really step forward and make a statement. And what a statement it would be if they could beat Kansas City, the former Super Bowl champions, put them on their ass. Imagine that. Imagine the city of Cleveland. Imagine, of course, our very own Anthony AJ, who is an absolute massive Cleveland Browns fan.
Yes,
he would be so excited if Cleveland somehow took down Kansas City in the first game.
Listen, it's like I said. I went on the other hand. It wouldn't surprise me. This was a knock him out, drag him out, take your daughter to the slaughter, defensive battle. That's the type of game that it could possibly be as well. It could be a 17-10. It could be a 17-14 game. It could be, one of those games. Who knows? Who the hell knows? I mean, this to me is the best game of Sunday. I mean, because, you got all these people thinking, these both teams are going to score a bunch of points. Yeah, but if they don't, it's still going to be a good game. As long as it's not a blowout, it's still going to be a good game. Oh, 17-14. Yeah, that's defense. And defense, as we know, wins championships.
Absolutely.
And wow, I mean, just week one is loaded with these matchups. There's a lot of matchups going on this weekend.
Oh, trust me, if you're an NFL fan, if you're a football fan, you're not going to be disappointed. You have a very good slate of games, especially if you're a fan who's just a fan of the game and not just one specific team that you watch every Sunday. Like me, if I'm off on Sundays, which unfortunately I'm not, but if I'm off on Sundays, that usually means I usually try to catch at least one game, my team, whether it be 12, 3, and 7, whatever, and then I'll try to catch 2 more games if possible, or I'll flip it between several games and try to keep an eye on a few scores. But for anybody who's even not a fan of one team, they have a great choice of games to really look forward to this Sunday and Monday as well. So it's going to be real interesting. But tonight we kick it off, like we said, it's Tampa Bay, Dallas, 7:20 Central, 8:20 Eastern. Check your local listings. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. Football is back. And it's a great time to be a sports fan. And I think the best thing about this year's football season is the fact that the fans are back. The fans are able to pack the stadiums and to be there and cheering on their football teams.
Absolutely. The fans are going to be back, loud and boisterous. Of course, there's going to be some sort of, each stadium is going to have its own rules, of course, about proof of vaccinations or masks or whatever, but that's beside the point. The point is we got football back and it's going to be a great game. Let's rock and roll, man.
But let me ask you this: as far as this season goes, I know it's the first week and we're previewing this week's games, but do you think Tampa Bay could be the first team to repeat as Super Bowl champions in 17 years?
I don't see why not. They got the team to do so. They've got, one of the biggest things is not only having a well-balanced team, but also its continuity. It's familiarity.
That's right.
They have a familiarity with each other where they don't need time to gel. They could go out there and play lights out every damn game if they wanted to, because they are familiar with each other. They're familiar with their movements. They're, like I said earlier, they're familiar with the way they're slotted. They're familiar with the playbooks. They're familiar with the coaching. So to me, it's pretty simplistic. I think Tampa Bay can repeat, but it's a matter of them playing smart it's a matter of staying injury free as humanly possible, which we do have some injuries to talk about here once we're done previewing.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But I think it's just a matter of a lot of different factors. Tampa Bay's got to be injury free. Tampa Bay's got to make sure they're playing great games, not overexerting themselves. They just got to play right. They got to play right. They got to play balanced. If they don't, then they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot. But Tom Brady's a smart guy, and Rob Gronkowski's a smart guy. All those players are smart people. They know that. They know that when they make the big plays when it counts. They don't overexert. They don't do anything stupid. So,
right.
I think that TB and company, I think they have a really good shot of becoming 2-time repeat Super Bowl champions.
I think so too. And tonight, this week, especially with it being the first week of the NFL season, there's going to be another interesting factor with this week. It's also the start of a new area, for certain players on different teams.
Yeah.
Like Sam Darnold going to Carolina. How will he do in his first start for Carolina?
Yeah, absolutely.
How will the Patriots do now that Cam Newton is no longer with the team?
There's a lot of factors that are going to be playing into the different teams with new players, with new playbooks, new coaching staff. It's going to be interesting to see how they adjust, because when you're under a team, a team for so long, you're under a coaching style, a playbook for so long, it's a little bit of an adjustment period to adjust. You're like, if you're a player that's in a more of an offensive driven play, and then you go to a team that's more defensively driven, it's going to be an adjustment. It's so I expect these players to have a little bit of an adjustment period. They probably won't play their greatest games, but I think that they'll once they get a game or two, maybe 3 in, I think they'll start to get comfortable and really start to get their juices flowing as far as understanding those playbooks, understanding the coaching, understanding player positions, and all different sorts of stuff. I think that, and especially there's going to be rookie quarterbacks out there, guys like the Zach Wilsons, guys like the Trevor Lawrence, the Justin Fields of the world. If Justin gets a chance to play, it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt if they're needed. It's going to be really, really, really overall interesting to see how they'll adapt to this system be coming out of the college world.
Exactly. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of questions that will be answered to start out the season. I mean, Julio Jones going to Tennessee, and it's my goodness, it's a great time to be alive.
Sammy Watkins, I believe he went to Arizona, correct?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, so he'll be joining, of course, JJ Watt, of course, on a brand new team as well.
Yes.
So joining also on Arizona.
AJ Green on Arizona as well.
Look at that three piece right there, just alone between that JJ Watt, AJ Green, and Sammy Watkins. That is a recipe for success, in my opinion, with just those 3 players alone. But of course, not all. Of course, we already know 3 players don't make a difference.
No,
it's a whole team within itself.
Full team.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you. So I know I gave you my game of the week, which is Kansas City, Cleveland. What is your game of the week?
My game of the week, I'm going to go with Green Bay and New Orleans. The reason why is just because, like I said, it's the factors behind each. We got the return of Aaron Rodgers, the return of Randall Cobb. So it's going to be Green Bay with some familiarity with the return of their future Hall of Fame quarterback and a future Hall of Fame receiver. And then you got, like I said, New Orleans, who's coming off, of course, Drew Brees retiring, and then this whole hurricane situation, which can be fuel to the fire, in my opinion. It could be something it'll be emotional, but it'll help them. That emotion will help them fuel their fire and bring them forward. I think this is not good. People think it's going to be a bit of a blowout because it's Aaron Rodgers back against the Green Bay team, or I guess the New Orleans team, who's kind of in a sense restructuring. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. According to Mr. Marks in New Mexico, Sammy Watkins is in Baltimore. Well, good.
All right.
Baltimore needs help because in just a second we're going to talk about some injuries that happened to them.
Oh
But,
man.
we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, that's my game of the week. I think it's just because of the emotions behind it. I think it's going to be a real interesting game to watch out for. But let's get right into it, Steven. Let's talk about it. I've been saying this for a few minutes now, and that's of course about the injuries, and it involves the Baltimore Ravens. Unfortunately,
Dude, they are depleted. It's insane.
yeah, the Baltimore unfortunately just lost their cornerback and a running back. Gus Edwards, running back, and Marcus Peters both suffered possibly serious potential knee injuries. So they suffered that at practice. The fears both of them have torn their ACL. That's according to Ian Rappaport. So
Yeah,
it's not looking too good early for the it's not looking too good for Ravens, but also the Ravens on Thursday signed veteran running back Devontae Freeman to a contract.
But just so that he can stay injury free.
Yeah, we know that.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, Baltimore just keeps on losing running backs. This is why you don't get rid of your ace, and that's Mark Ingram.
Absolutely.
Bad move by Baltimore. Bad move.
Don't forget also on the practice squad, they also have Le'Veon Bell as well.
Oh, yes. Watch him be moved up to the main roster as well because they need somebody at running back to hopefully start. That's has some star caliber, as far as with the name.
Absolutely. I agree. It's going to be I'm ready, man. The season starts tonight. Let's fucking go. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be off the hook. Man, it's just, man, I mean, I cannot wait for this game tonight because the fans are going to be into it. The players are going to be into it. Everybody is ready to show up and show out and play some football.
Absolutely. Well, let's get right into it. Let's get into something else. Let's get into a couple of Hall of Fames that were taken care of just recently. And that let's get into first the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Their induction ceremony just happened recently. Of course, there's several members of the Hall of Fame in different categories. Of course, from the North American Committee of this Hall of Fame inducted this year is Rick Adelman. Of course, Chris Bosh.
Ooh.
Paul Pierce.
Nice.
As a coach this year, Bill Russell. And Ben Wallace.
Okay.
Chris Webber.
All right, nice.
And Jay Wright.
All right.
And then on the women's committee, you have Yolanda Griffith, Lauren Jackson, as the two women who are inducted this year. And then you have the contributors, which is Val Ackerman, Howard Garfinkel, and Cotton Fitzsimmons. The Veterans Committee on the Veterans Committee, Bob Dandridge, and the International Committee inducted none other than, of course, I know this guy being a Chicago Bulls fan, the great Tony Kukoc. So that's
Coach was awesome in Chicago.
Absolutely. One of my favorite teams there is with Tony Kukoc. Of course, I was happy to hear about none other than Chris Bosh going into the Hall of Fame. I was happy for that. Unfortunately,
Paul Pierce, when me being a Celtics fan, that was cool. Seeing Paul go into the Hall of Fame. I mean, man, this class is pretty sweet. I mean, you got Chris Webber, Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh. I mean, bunch of great talents, man.
Yeah, pretty stacked Hall of Fame, if I say so myself this year. It's gonna, and I'm happy for Paul Pierce. I'm happy for anybody who gets into the Hall of Fame because they rightfully deserve it.
Exactly.
And Chris Bosh, unfortunately, his career, he would have had a comeback had it not been for blood clots in his lungs that could have potentially ended not only his career but his life as well.
That's right. Yeah, that was really, really, really bad.
Yeah, that was really bad. And of course, Paul Pierce, the truth himself, we know that. Chris Webber, what more could be said about him? He's an awesome player. Ben Wallace, another great player. But all them All the players deserve the Hall of Fame.
Ben
Congratulations.
Wallace with those Detroit teams with Chauncey Billups and Rasheed
Yep.
Wallace and Tayshaun Prince and Richard Rip Hamilton. I mean, my God. I mean,
That
those
was-
Pistons
those
teams were amazing.
Those Pistons teams are legendary in my opinion.
Absolutely. When you heard the final countdown, you know it was go time, rock and roll.
Absolutely. Since we're on basketball, and first of all, I want to say congratulations again to all the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame inductees.
Absolutely.
Rightfully deserved. You guys deserve any and all praise, any and all, any of that. You guys deserve it. But let's get into some news. DeAndre Jordan has signed with the Lakers after a buyout and a trade.
Wow.
Yep. The vice president of basketball operations and the general manager of the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, announced today that he was signed.
They just can't get away from going to a super team. Terrific.
Oh, do I smell a rant coming on there, Steven?
Nah, not a rant. It's football season. If this was no football, probably you might get a rant out of me. But nah, not tonight. Nope. Sorry. Nope.
Oh, damn. Oh, I was hoping for one. I'll find something to piss you off. Don't worry. We got a little bit of show to go. Trust me, I have time.
You're probably throwing it back to me. Ayo!
Yeah. By now, you should have somehow realized what I'm gonna do.
Not thinking about me now. Anyways.
Yeah, at least we're not Mongrovian, and we're right now on a bit of an even flow. My thoughts have been arriving like butterflies. But anyways, Indiana Pacers guard Edmund Summer has been diagnosed with a torn left Achilles.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, he is out indefinitely. This was reported, of course, by the NBA.com staff. Unfortunately, wish him all the best. Let's see. Bulls signed Stanley Johnson and 3 other players, including forwards Tyler Cook and Alice Johnson, as well as Matt Thomas and Ethan Thompson. So this will be interesting. The Bulls adding some more depth to their players. Of course, it's coming off the heels of signing DeMar DeRozan, which I think that is a great addition.
Great signing by Chicago.
Absolutely, it's going to help their shooting game out really, really well. Speaking of shooters and speaking of players, Hall of Fame caliber players, LaMarcus Aldridge has come out of retirement.
Oh, really?
Yes, he has signed a 1-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets. He has been medically
so he's back with Brooklyn.
He's been medically cleared to return.
Well, good for him, because I know that was very scary for Aldridge back in the springtime. Because I know when he signed with Brooklyn, they were looking to add that big-time piece to hopefully get him over the hump. And man, the L train coming back, oh, man, that's going to be a great addition to their basketball team.
Absolutely. LaMarcus Aldridge averages 19.4 rebounds and 19.4 points and 8.2 rebounds across 15 seasons with the Blazers, Spurs, and the Nets. So he's got some pretty good numbers. Of course, Aldridge is a legend in our eyes. One of the best big men who's also an excellent shooter.
Excellent shooter.
One of the few big men who's got that quality, which is being able to shoot and being able to be in the paint and defend. And that's a thing we've seen more now over the years, but it's become back in the day when he first started, it wasn't that frequent. So that'll be real interesting to see what happens there with Aldridge, see if he makes a difference with Brooklyn. Of course, with KD, James Harden, that whole super team there in a retrospect. But I think that's really it on NBA news today. It looks like outside of the Hall of Fame stuff and the stuff we just mentioned, let's go ahead and move forward. Let's get to a little bit of Major League Baseball, and that's another Hall of Fame I mentioned, and that is, of course, the MLB Hall of Fame class. There was a great number of people who went in this year, including the biggest name on this list, none other than the great Derek Jeter. That's right. Jeter went into the Hall of Fame this year. Jeter, of course, known for his time. With New York and many other great teams. He's one of the man known as Captain Clutch. He is an absolute great player and deserving of this award. Other players that were inducted as well include, if I can pull up my Foamanac, right, not mess up, Ted Simmons as well, Marvin Miller. There were several other names that went into the Hall of Fame, but my phone is not loading them right now because it's being a piece of garbage. But here we go. But it's this seems like it was a great Hall of Fame class this year, especially Jeter leading it off. We all know how great Derek Jeter is and how deserving he is of this honor. Steven, your thoughts on the few names that I mentioned while I looked the rest up on this. It seems like those are the only three names that actually went in this year.
There's only one thing that needs to be said about this class: Derek freaking Jeter. Need I say more? The dude, one of the best baseball players of all time, unanimously voted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a thing to think about. Unanimously voted. Usually, the voting process is a very tight kind of like
situation.
It's a dicey situation because a lot of players, you need a certain number of votes, and if you don't gain a certain number of votes, you don't go in. It's a very hard process to get through. But Derek Jeter unanimously went in, which is practically unheard of in a sense to go in like that. So he's one of a kind in many ways. I mean, his playing ability, his ability at the positions, he's great on the field, off the field. He's never had any real issues. The man has been a star player all of his career, and he's proven it in and out of uniform. So
that's definitely
a guy who deserves this honor more than anybody at this point in time. So congratulations to Derek Jeter, Ted Williams, Marvin Miller, those three inductees who went in this year. Very well deserved.
Absolutely.
As far as any MLB news, real quick before we get into a little bit of news we want to share that came down this morning, not in any of the topics we're discussing now, but it involves, of course, my favorite topic, which is mixed martial arts. We're going to get into that here in just a second, but one news report that just came out is Yankees left-handed reliever Zach Britton will undergo Tommy John surgery today, in addition to a bone chip removal from his pitching elbow. Unfortunately, that'll keep him out until the end of the 2022 season.
Yikes.
So it's going to be a very long layoff for Britton, unfortunately. Let's see. Any other big news according to this website? Not really. It seems like it's been a quiet news week outside of that. Actually, before we get to the MMA stuff, let's go into a quick score update. Why don't we, Steven? Let's go ahead and do that real quick.
Sounds good to me.
All right. And of course, this is courtesy of ESPN.com. Thank you, ESPN, for being so awesome. Of course, we got currently right now the Twins, Indians leading the Twins right now 3-1 in the bottom of the sixth. The Mets beating the Marlins 2-0 in the top of the fifth. Phillies beating the Rockies 1-0, top of the fourth. Royals beating the Orioles 1-0 in the top of the fourth. The Yankees losing to the Blue Jays 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Sorry, Neil. The Nationals beating the Braves 2-0, top of the third. And of course, we had two final games today. The Oakland A's beat the White Sox 3-1. Damn it, hijacker. And the Cardinals beat the Dodgers 2-1. And of course, I'll mention again, Cowboys and Bucks playing at 8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central. So it's gonna be he's got a lot of great games on tonight. Whether you're a baseball fan, whether you're a football fan, So you got a lot to choose from tonight.
Yes, we do.
And let's get into the big news that was broken this morning on Busted Open. And of course, Busted Open is a wrestling show, but it's on a channel that involves mixed martial arts and combat sports such as boxing and kickboxing. So
that's right.
And it was the news broken that a brand new show will be on, featuring the lovely Renee Paquette, formerly known as Renee Young in the WWE, of course, wife of Jon Moxley. She will be with Misha Tate on a brand new show. It's going to be an awesome brand new show. It is called, I believe it is called, what's the name of the show, Steven?
Man, I read it and then it totally blanked, but I'm so excited about this show on Monday, starting Mondays 2 to 5.
Here it is. It's Throwing Down with Renee and Misha.
This will happen. There it is.
It'll happen every Monday afternoon from 2 to 5 Eastern on channel 156, Sirius XM.
Man, just those two names alone, Renee and Misha Tate, are gonna knock it out of the freaking park. Like, man, just hearing Renee talking MMA, let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go.
And like Renee said, this is going to be a kind of a test for her because she's going to learn more about the MMA world from Misha Tate, while Misha is going to learn more about the pro wrestling world from
Renee.
From Renee. So this will be really interesting. And not only that, they're going to be covering, and yes, they are going to be covering MMA, kickboxing, and professional wrestling all on this 3-hour show.
See, and this is what's cool, is because when Misha was there in Vegas for SummerSlam this year, she got to experience what it was like being in front of a professional wrestling crowd. And just, oh, dude, and I'm just thinking about this too. What if Misha was to go to an AEW show? Oh my freaking goodness, dude.
I mean, look what's happening right now with Dan Lambert, the head of American Top Team, with of course Jorge Masvidal and the Gamebred Fight Team. So it's interesting already. We got that going on. Imagine if Misha Tate shows up in an AEW, similar to Ronda Rousey showing up in WWE. Mm-hmm. It would be a nice crossover.
It would.
Of course, unfortunately, it's not up to Tony Khan. It's not up to Misha. It's up to Dana White.
That's right.
She's signed under a UFC contract, so that'll be up to that.
That's right.
This will be a great new show, and also Renee will also be a frequent contributor to Busted Open as well. So congratulations to Renee and Misha on a new venture together. Well, of course, you and I will both be listening to that show, as well as all the other previous hosts, including our very own Hijacker, Todd, and everybody else who's been on the show. Congratulations to Renee, congratulations to Misha, and good luck on the brand new venture.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. This weekend, man, in the world of combat sports is going to be a very, very, I'm not going to say awkward weekend, but it's going to be a very strange weekend.
Yes, because with football being back.
Well, I'm not talking about in the world of combat sports. I'm talking about the Triller fight this weekend.
Oh, no.
Vitor Belfort. Remember, Vitor Belfort was supposed to take on Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
But of course, I've been off for 2 weeks, and during that time, Oscar De La Hoya contracted COVID, and unfortunately, he's out. So they replaced it with one of the greatest of all time, Evander Holyfield. and not only that, on the commentating team will be none other than Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, and the former president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Oh my God! No.
5 words. Train wreck waiting to happen.
Oh my fucking God. Who in the blue hell put this together? Are you kidding me? We're talking about a man who has no filter in Donald Trump. And 50 Cent? A rapper who hasn't been in the primetime spotlight in God knows what, 15 years? Oh my God.
Yeah. You know the spotlight 50. You know what I'm saying? Pop it off.
This fight's great. Gee, you nut. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Okay, it's one thing to have Snoop Dogg on the commentary team when you had Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. That was fine. That was cool. I got that. But 50 Cent and Donald Trump? No, sir. No, sir. Who booked this? WWE?
Well, speaking of WWE, we'll have a little news about that in a little bit too, because it involves Olympic wrestling. But let's get this is going to be insane.
Oh my God.
This is going to be an absolute train wreck. You got Donald Trump,
terrible.
Like you said, you got Donald Trump, who absolutely has no filter, a guy who doesn't give a fuck what he says, no matter where he's at. Basically, loose cannon with his own mouth. Then he's got diarrhea in the mouth, constipation in the brain sometimes. Then you've got 50 Cent, who half the time needs a translator.
50, I mean, I respect the guy for what he did in the world of rap and hip hop. I mean, the guy had success, back in 2003, 2005. I mean, his first album, Get Rich or Die Trying, sold 1 million copies in about 3 days or something like that. I mean, that is astounding. That's amazing. But my God, who the hell's going to be play-by-play?
That's a really, really good question. Unfortunately, I don't have all the details in front of me.
Oh my God, could you imagine 50 people play? Welcome to the Triller fight. I mean, my God, you're asking for a disaster. Yeah, okay. Stephen A. Smith on ESPN says the Dallas Cowboys are a disaster waiting to happen. Well, my friends, this weekend is going to be a disaster waiting to happen with this Triller fight, or whatever fight you want to call it. If this was regular boxing or regular MMA, there is no way on God's green earth that they're going to put on this shit show of a show, because this right here is going to be even worse.
Well, Steven, real quick before you continue on your little bit into your mini rant here, do you remember Jim Lampley, famous legendary boxing broadcaster?
Yes,
he's the head play-by-play guy of Triller Fight Club.
Okay, but even he cannot save the train wreck that is fixing to unfold this Saturday night. It's gonna be fat. I hear that train coming. Yeah, it's coming right down. Disaster waiting to happen. It's gonna be that freaking bad. It's gonna be bad. I mean, to me, this is gonna be worse than the event they put on back in June when Oscar was drunk off his ass. And those so-called fights that happened that night. Hell, Sam Roberts had a very entertaining review of this shit show in June. It was that bad, obviously. So I would imagine Mr. Roberts will have another interesting shit show review of this event that's going to happen Saturday. Oh my freaking God. You know what? I'd rather go listen to Oasis than listen to this horse shit that's going to happen Saturday night. There, I said it. Where you were getting high? Listening to this shit show? Give me a break. I mean, this is going to be bad. This is going to be terrible. This is going to be, oh my God. I mean, hey, you know what? I won't have to worry about that. You know why? Because I'm going to be at a concert Saturday night in Raleigh when the Black Crows and Dirty Honey play. It's going to be awesome. Be awesome.
I will not be paying $60 for that piece of shit. Fuck that.
$60?
I think it's like $50 for that damn pay-per-view.
Oh, dear Jesus. Oh my goodness. Oh,
to watch a 58-year-old Evander Holyfield take on like a 40-something-year-old Vitor Belfort.
Oh my God! You know what? I hope
Donald Trump and 50 Cent on commentary with Jim Lampley calling the fight.
Oh my God! I cannot believe this is even existing this Saturday night.
You think Triller?
Oh my God! Somebody, please. Get us a doctor. It's going to be bad. It's going to be painful.
Yes, somebody give me a doctor.
And this is
not
one of
Dr. Love.
No, exactly. Thank you, R.A. And this is one of and I'll just say this right here. I'll just say this right here, right now. This is one of the many reasons why I am a blind man and I can't see what's fixing to happen this Saturday night. It's going to be that bad. Oh my God. 50 Cent and Donald Trump on commentary. Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
It's going to be a massive train wreck, and I cannot wait to watch it unfold. It's going to be crazy. Yes, it
Oh
is.
my God.
Let's see. One of the big things coming up also this week. Actually, no, one of the big news stories that broke today, and we mentioned it. You said something about we mentioned about wrestling earlier a little bit just because of the whole Renee thing. Well, there was a big the big signing that just happened, and that is, of course, it's been rumored, and of course, it's pretty much obvious, but Gable Stevenson has signed a multi-year contract with the WWE.
Yep, that has been reported today.
Yep, that was reported today. So congratulations to Gable Stevenson on starting the new chapter of his wrestling career. We already knew he was coming to WWE. It's been long reported. It's been long rumored. He's friends with Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar is his mentor. That's something that could be discussed more in detail on the Nation's Corner this Saturday. But I just wanted to throw that out there because it does involve Olympic wrestling. So I wanted to get that out there real quick. And also, this is something that my buddy Jeff Grice, shout out to him, a buddy of mine who works with. He is a massive sports fan, a massive NBA fan, and a massive WNBA fan. And I wanted to bring this up. The Chicago Sky, a couple nights ago, clinched a spot in the WNBA playoffs, which is big. So congratulations to the Chicago Sky on clinching that spot. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. Hopefully Chicago Sky really puts it forward and wins the championship and brings it home to the Windy City this year. Sorry to any other team, but you suck. There's gonna, of course, Tito Ortiz came out today and said that his political career is officially done with, and that he's moving back to 100% moving back to fighting. Anderson Silva said he believes he's got 3 more years before he decides to officially call it a career.
Ezra, do you think Triller throws money at Tito Ortiz and says, "Hey, fella, you want to come fight for us?"
Tito Ortiz is a smart businessman. I think he would take it. I think he would.
I think he would too.
I think he would too, because he's a smart businessman. He knows how to make money. Tito Ortiz is not dumb. He's been in this fight game for what, over 2 decades now?
Yes.
Man has been in the fight game since the early 90s. The guy knows. He's no dummy. So I think personally that this is a win-win situation for Tito. Whether it's against a boxer or another MMA fighter in a boxing match, he can make it work, and he can make millions of dollars doing it. I mean, that's what's happening right now with Vitor and Evander. But Evander looked pretty crisp during the pre-game workouts, or pre-fight workouts, I will say, that were open to the public. He looked pretty crisp. He said he's been taking care of his body, and he looks in pretty phenomenal shape for 58 years old. So we'll see how that plays out. Also, it was reported that Daniel Cormier will be starring in a spin-off series of the movie Warrior.
Oh,
that starred, of course, Tom Hardy. So says Cormier will play Bobby Watkins, a Houston fighter who's trying to pull his family out of poverty.
Interesting.
Director Gavin O'Connor, who was the original director of Warrior, will serve as the director and executive producer of the film. So it'll be real interesting to watch this, and of course it'll be produced by Lionsgate Films, who's produced everything, including, of course, one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Saw. So should be really, really cool show, I think. And of course, with DC making his acting debut, we'll see if he can actually act. Maybe that'll open up the door to his pro wrestling career. Who knows? But we're getting close here to the end of the show here, Steven. It's been kind of a short news day, and of course, with only 2 of us here, we've been kind of just kicking it here and there. So let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up, Steven. Your final thoughts, my brother?
I mean, listen, anytime we get to do this show and talk sports, and especially now that football, yes, we keep on saying it is back. And tonight, the real season begins. And our journey to Super Bowl 56 in LA, it starts tonight, folks. We're going to be here with you guys all season long, every week. in the regular season, throughout the entire postseason, and of course, the Super Bowl in February. It's going to be an awesome time covering the NFL. And next week's show, our buddy Kevin Rory is going to be joining us for another edition of our Nation Sports Show.
Very
so
nice.
we look forward to having him on with us next week, talking week number 2 and recapping week 1 in the NFL. So, yeah, once again, folks, you can follow us on Twitter at @ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show. You can also follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook.com/The Nation's Corner, and our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/The Nation's Corner. The Nation's Corner will be live this Saturday night, 7 p.m., talking about, I don't know, AEW. All Out from Sunday. An incredible pay-per-view. And can I just say, because I finally got to catch MJF's promo from last night, holy shit. That was a promo.
Oh, yeah, that was one hell of a
Oh, my
promo.
God, that was a promo.
Almost took it a little bit too far in concept, but man, that was a hell of a beast of a promo. All right, I see you chiming in here, all right. What are you going to say?
Bethany.
Oh my God. When he said that, I said, whoa. Whoa.
Oh, that's a great time to chime in. Of course, RA, our very own RA Davis, one of the best doing that.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yes, he does. Definitely, you're going to be talking about All Out, and of course, the fallout from that, the debuts of Adam Cole, Daniel Bryan,
Baby. Yes.
The show on Minoru Suzuki from New Japan.
That match was awesome.
And a lot more coming up. Keep an eye on their social media for more information as they lead up to, of course, the hosts on that show. The main 3 hosts, of course, are Deb Housen, Tony Justice, and, of course, our very own Front Row. Check them out at 7/6 Central, only on YouTube.com. That's going to be a great show. But enough of our yakking. Let's end this now. For Steven, for our buddy R.A. Davis helping us out here with the audio and the video, I am Ezra Vickery, and we will see you next week on another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Peace.